All right. Good morning, Pre-PT Nation, Pre-PT fam. It's Dr. Sean, physical therapy application coach. I'm so excited to be able to bring this awesome interview to you guys today. We have a very special guest with us, Miss Judy, who is just an absolute champion. Probably this is my favorite acceptance story in several years. Just to hear what you've gone through, to hear about your experiences. I'm going to let Judy talk more about that in particular. But I wanted to first give us an opportunity to introduce Miss Judy, let people know about her. There's a lot of people on social media who follow her and are aware of her. So I want to give her an opportunity to share her story a little bit and talk about some good news that you've received recently.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. Let's just say I'm still surreal moment right now. So it's been 2 days, but I'm still feeling it. So what really started all is that I wanted to become a physical therapist my sophomore year of college. And after I graduated, I decided to apply for PT schools. I remember in 2017, which was 3 years ago, I only applied to 5 programs and I got rejection. So I was really lost and confused. I have no direction at all. But so I, had no idea what to do, and I wanted to quit because every time I see that word, it just makes me feel like a failure. So I wanted to quit right there, but my boss, my coworkers found out what happened, and they told me just try again because it's just the beginning. Everybody else has at least one rejection letter, and that's just an improvement of see what you really need to work on. So I had a low GPA and a low GRE score. It's not really the typical like competitive applicant, but I decided to look at it carefully, and I think like, you know what, I need to retake classes and retake the GRE and gain more experiences, work as an aide, and to really be more competitive. So that following year in 2018, I decided to take a gap year. I retook some prerequisite classes. I got seasoned, and I retook the GRE, and all that hard work paid off. I committed my time to studying and working, and I ended up maintaining a 4.0, and I ended up being in the dean's list and the president's list that following year. So it's a really good accomplishment.
Awesome.
The GRE was the pain in the butt, I gotta say, but I did use Magoosh, and I ended up having with 10 points, but it wasn't the score that I really wanted. So I stuck with that for a while, and then in 2019, I decided to apply again. And I was in several different, mentorship services. I was in pre-PT grind, and, a wonderful community there. They were really great. So, and I started connecting with a lot of PTs and, just be part of that physical therapy community and really start connecting. It's really made the difference. Especially during the application process, it's so competitive, and I thought it was all just the numbers game, but it turned out it was mostly just I would say that's more of like a person approach. You have to be very caring, you got to be very ambitious, you got to be not only knowledgeable, but you got to connect with patients as well, and not just have, because you could have like a 4.0 or like a high GRE score, but not be a good clinician. So it's a really different perspective. And in 2019, I decided to apply to 17 programs. I know that's a lot of money, but I was just so determined to really just put myself out there because, I have my top 5, but then I realized I'm thinking, I'm from Texas, but I want to go myself out there. So I applied a lot of out of state, and I only applied to those schools who matches my stats well. I had a really low GPA. I didn't have a perfect 3.0 or nor 4.0 at all. I think my GPA when I was in college was a 2.6. And then when I retook classes, it was like a 2.8. So I had to really narrow down my stats. And it turned out I did my homework. I ended up getting 3 interviews out of state. It was really amazing. And I ended up, and I ended up, doing my homework with interviews. So that was another step of my hurdle. So it was amazing. And I ended up getting 4 waitlisted. So that was, a very insane process. But the waiting game what really killed me the most because you'll never know when they're gonna answer you. So turned out I didn't not get off the wait list, but I looked at the application one more time. I never gave up on myself to, really put myself out there. I retook the GRE again. I did not get that score I wanted. I retook some classes, and now with COVID, I decided to, do some volunteer virtual opportunities. I really just worked on my application slowly and surely. I prepare for the worst. So I remember applying to my top 2 schools in July. One of them was AT Still, and that was my top choice because I remember reading, researching their program, and then that really hit me that I wanted to go there. So I submitted that application first, and I think about 2 weeks or 3 weeks later, I got a second application and submitted that within the beginning of August, and then 2 days later, that I got by for interview. And so I'm thinking that was pretty quick. So I worked on the interview process for about a month with you. And, the interview process really helped me how to answer questions instead of just the narrow down, um, just the typical answers. I just wanted to be my true self. And that interview day, I felt the most confident compared to the 3 that I had last year. And and so, that interview would really help me through it all. And then that waiting game lasted for 3 weeks. And I remember checking out my phone 2 days, I think it was last Friday is when I found out. And I checked my email and it said, congratulations. And so I'm thinking and I felt this heavy weight just lifted out of my shoulders. And now I put down my deposit and I'll be in Arizona in about 9 months, which is insane. So I'm going from humid weather in Texas to desert in Arizona.
Well, you know what? It's funny because you can come on down. We'll have to hang out, Judy, because I'm from Arizona, and it's just awesome that what a journey, right? Like, I wanted to share your story so much because I think there are so many pre-PTs that they have a non-conventional path to getting into PT school. And they've either had advisors or like their friends tell them, or like current PTs that they work with, that like your numbers just aren't good enough, like there's no way you're going to be able to get in, right? What do you say to those people who feel like they're hopeless and there's nothing they can do?
I had those hopeless moments before because I remember I graduated in college with a 2.6 GPA, and I looked at myself as like, there's no way in heck I can get into grad school with this. I know as an undergrad, I know there's some people out there applying, during their college years. A lot of people say C's get degrees. I don't know if you heard that phrase,
Yes.
but I know, but it does not get into grad school. But I just told myself, I'm 28 years old and I'm thinking like, oh, I'm old. I can't do this, maybe it's too late. But then I think what really woke me up is when uh, I think that in 2017, my boss, told me a story that he got in when he was 30 years old and he got out when he was 33. And he ended up with a master's, uh, with the MBA as well. So, and then he told me like, there's no age limit, you know, it's just to follow your dream. If we really want to, you really want it, like do it, I would say. So we took classes and then I looked at my classmates. There are some classmates who are parents, which I was pretty surprised. And, it really woke me up and I started to learn that, there's no age limit to follow your dream, and so I think my advice for them is if you really have your inner will, I would say go for it. Go all the way. I retook class. It took me 3 years to get where I am right now. I thought it's going to be a little bit longer, and have this mindset, surround yourself with positive people who will push you. who will push you to be the best you can be, and then learn from it every day. You know, of course, the waiting game sucks, but it's one of those things that you have to tell yourself, like, it's just a process, slowly and surely, and you will get there. You know.
Absolutely. No, that's
And
we need
definitely
to we
kudos.
need to put that on a shirt, Judy. There's no age limit
Yes.
to achieving your dreams, right? Like
Mhm.
you can go whenever. And hey, I'm
Yeah,
28. We're still young. We're still hip. We can do stuff, right?
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
so I think that is so powerful to tell people, because whenever an applicant comes to me, regardless of where their numbers are or what their past history was,
Mhm.
is you always need to focus on what you can do going forward, right? Like
Yeah,
you can't
so
just you can't have this fixed mindset that you can't get better, you can't improve your application, because
mhm.
there's lots of stories with people who may have started with a lower GPA, and they just committed to retaking classes and improving themselves. And I think something else that you brought up that's really important is you found the schools that you could look competitive based on how they evaluate your application.
Yeah,
And I think that's an aspect that we don't talk about as much in the pre-PT coaching realm, because it's like, no, if you have a dream school, like you only look there. Well,
yeah.
yeah, maybe your dream school at the time was somewhere you wanted to go, but we need to look at, based
Mhm.
on your numbers, how can we get you in as soon as possible to a
Right.
program that you like, right?
Mhm.
Uh,
And then definitely for them is get out of your comfort zone. I never thought I was gonna move out of state, but turned out, life is another adventure. I'm getting married in December, which is, I'm very happy about that. But then, I'm gonna start grad school in 9 months, so and so it's just definitely put yourself out there. The whole world is still big. It's like, why would you put yourself in a small box?
for sure, for
Mhm.
sure. No, thank you for sharing that. Something else I wanted to ask you about in particular is, I admire you because you're not someone who's afraid to ask for, like you said, to surround yourself with positive people, to bring in lots of positive influences.
Mhm.
And you've worked with a lot of different pre-PT coaches. You've worked with pre-PT Grind, PT Writer, myself, Pathway to DPT, like
Yeah.
all of these different people, right? And there's lots of other people that are in that sphere of coaching people to get into PT school. Um,
Mhm.
if you wouldn't mind, just kind of talk about like each system and how you feel like it helps you, in
So,
in a brief
yeah,
way.
go ahead. So I found PPT grind from the website Student Doctor Forum.
Hmm.
So someone posted like, "Hey, join PPT grind." So it started in 2019. It's like around January. I looked at their community, and I really love their approach, and I love the way they not only help people, but they really encourage and push you to be the best you can be. And so I became a member there, and I was part of the acceptance system in February, I would say. And really start connecting with other students, and then with other PPTs and other mentors. Really, really, you surround yourself with those people who have the same passion as you. Really helps you. It really motivates you to be the best you can be, so you can be a PT. You can go to PT school. And so, I was there, I was in that, I'm still part of that PPT grind. And, you know, all the mentorship services has been great. Like, they're all wonderful. There's no one is better than the other. They're all great to me, you know?
For
And
sure.
so it's really hard to choose like which one is the best. But, I want to put myself out there, you know? I always had this mindset is like, get out of my comfort zone. Um, so yeah, PPT grind helped me a lot, and then I found you this year, and I think I found you through Instagram,
I
and
think so.
so
Yeah.
that's how I knew. And then I found out. I don't know what's going on. I mean, social media is such a powerful tool that now a lot of PTs are using Instagram as their brand. There's to um, expand, their name. And so I found Jasmine Marcus, who does the PT. She's known as the PT essay writer, and she's really good with her essays.
Hmm.
Really just ask for help. Anything you're continuing to learn and improve as much as you can, just put yourself out there. So that's why I found you through Instagram, and then I read through it all, and I'm thinking like, you know what? Let me see if Sean can help me out. And it's like, okay, let's just, with the essays and, the applying. I know the GRE. I remember the very beginning of the GRE, I was thinking like, oh, I don't want to take this again. I remember that phone call that we had. That was
Mm-hmm.
miserable.
Yeah.
But, just really narrowed down, and like mentorship really helped me through it. And then I also connect with Rachel, who found the pathway to DPT. So she also mentors as well. So she also gave me some guidance and also mentorship to keep going. So all four, including you, really helped me through it all. No, like no mentorship services are better than the other, in my opinion, because they're all, you guys are all great. And I'm still like rely on you guys for like part of the community if I need help. So really put yourself out there, get out of your comfort zone. If you really need help with essays, go to like Jasmine, or go to Sean, or go to Pathway DBT, really depending on, what you're really looking for. Like, are you really you want to stay comfort, you want to stay complacent, or you want to go bigger, or go big or go home, and I know it's a cliche thing, but yeah, physical therapy is getting more competitive every year. And so if you want to be that competitive applicant, you have to get out of that box.
For
So
sure.
that's what I would really say.
Something else I really appreciate you giving that perspective, because I'm not even going to say it's like a competition between us, because there's so many applicants and there's no way that we can't all serve all of the applicants, like there's just not enough bandwidth for everybody. So I'm glad there's lots of different people that are like being successful. They're helping people to come and to rise to the top. And I think it's great because, ultimately we all want to build this profession, right? And get as many people who want to be in this profession into the field. So I really appreciate that perspective. And I think it's great and admirable of you that you're just like, I don't care who it is. I just want to get into school, right? Like, it doesn't matter how I get there. There's different approaches, there's different techniques, different mindsets, right? But that's the beauty of it, because different applicants require different things and they're looking for different approaches. So I'm grateful that we were able to connect and have a little, part in your story and your journey, and to see it through to this point where you've put in all this hard work, you've gotten all this mentorship, and it's paid off, and you've gone from a 2.6 GPA, having a hard time with the GRE, to starting a DPT program, class of 2024, right? And who'd have thought, all along the way that you're like, there were moments probably you're like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this. And we even had like contingency plans of, okay, like, what do we do going forward if this cycle doesn't work out, right? Like, and thankfully you took the advice that you were given. You looked for programs that, if you don't have a strong GRE score, look at programs that don't look at the GRE. You know what I mean? Like, find the programs that fit the best for your profile. And because you did that, Judy, because you put in all that hard work, it led to a successful outcome. And I'm so happy for you. Like, it's almost like the biggest part I love about this job is I get to like get accepted to PT school every time that you guys do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like relive those feelings of being like, oh my gosh, thank goodness. Like, it's finally done,
Yeah, that heavy weight just lifted on my shoulders that day. I think I celebrated with dinner with my fiance that Saturday, and then yesterday I spent time with my family. Just really talk about like, oh, I go on road trips and I get going to celebrate. And I said, yes, of course, you can visit me, but just
Absolutely.
obviously whenever I'm studying, then don't bother me. But
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah, no, it's great. And I'm so happy for you. So what I want to wrap up with is this is kind of like a testimonial video. So for people who are looking to get help with their applications, why do you feel like someone should use physical therapy application coach for just general application coaching, essays, or interviews?
I believe when I look at physical therapy application coach, I read through the description, but yeah, you really helped me with the essays in a different perspective. It made about me holistically, not just the question itself. So the essays and really did help me out, I would say. So I really appreciate, all their guide work with my essays. So it's not the typical like standard I want to be a PT because I want to help people. It's just more deeper. So I really took that approach, and I really love, really a step-by-step guide to make it about an applicant as a wholesome person, not rather than just a typical PT applicant. Um, and really just guiding to the right direction, telling me like narrow down schools really helped me out. And I think the interviews really not only prepare me for those questions, but you really um, guided me through like how to answer it with confidence. And so that's why when I look at physical therapy application coach, I think like, oh gosh, Sean's the guy. He's like, if you really need help, like, I mean, of course, there's so many mentorship services. They're all great, um, but yeah, physical therapy application coach is one of the greatest. So I would say if you want to be a competitive applicant, you want to get into PT school, use physical therapy application coach because Sean's the best. And so I would say go use him, really look at the packages, what's in your budget, and really learn from his perspective and learn how the application works. And if you want to put the work in, I would say go for it. Use him.
Awesome. Thank you, Judy. That means a lot. I really appreciate it. And again, we want to emphasize there's a mentor for everybody, right? There's lots of different options. And I really appreciate that. It means a lot when you have someone who's worked time and time again, and we can help you push over the finish line, with the help of all the people. You've got like an army behind you pushing you, right? And ultimately at the end of the day, you've been the one putting in all this time and effort and applying what we've been learning. So what we've been sharing with you. So I commend you for that. I'm so excited for you. Once you get down to Arizona, we're definitely going to have you over. We'll go out to eat or something, and we'll connect and we'll have a good time.
Oh, will do. I can't wait for next year. I know it's 2020. We have like 5 months. Not 5 months. Excuse me, 3 months of the year.
Yeah.
The COVID pandemic year. So 2021. We'll see.
Let's hope 2021 nothing bad happens. Like we
No,
got all the bad out of 2020, right?
Yeah. I mean, hopefully pray for COVID. Right now for AT still they're doing hybrid. So hopefully, I mean, I heard everything's getting better, but knock on wood, I'm just praying for the best. Look for the best.
I think overall, like we're learning how to adapt to it, right? And what this big scary thing was when it happened, people are like, what are we going to do? You know what I mean? But now that and that's the thing I love about the human spirit is just like you, like you have to adapt to your circumstances. And that's how human beings can do that so well. If you take the time to say, okay, this is the information, this is how we can tackle it. These are my options. And you go from there and you make the best of it.
Yeah, I remember my dad told me, it still stuck me to this day because he knew what I was going through. And he told me, it's like, you can either live with fear or you can get out of it or face it. So he says, and he told me those simple quotes can really make it a huge impact. And I decided to conquer or face my fear. Because I looked at my stats, because everybody's afraid of rejections. I got, oh geez, how many rejections I had for the past 3 years? Oh boy, I'm trying to think. I'm not counting this year. I'm counting the past 3. I had 15 rejection letters. So you can imagine how much I felt, but, of course I had my tears. But what people tell me all the time, with all those 4 mentorships, like look at your rejection as next opportunity instead of just looking at it. I deleted those rejection letters by email. I don't look at them anymore.
Man. Burn them.
And it's just like, you know what, prove those people wrong. I think a mentorship told me, it's just like, a rejection letter means a school is not meant for you. There's a school who will accept you for you. Of course, it's all a numbers game. That's how they eliminate applicants. But it's all about you holistically
Okay.
rather than just the numbers. So
Right.
really just face your fear, not you can't live your life, you can't live life fearing everything that's uncomfortable. You know
Okay.
what I mean?
Otherwise, you're not going to do anything.
You
You're
really
going
can't
to
do
sit
anything,
at
especially
home
with
and complain about it, right? So props to you, Judy, again. So excited. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your thoughts and your story. I know that experiences like this, just they can help so many people. So this is going to go on Instagram, it'll go on YouTube, and who knows, like 3 years down the road, there might be someone who's had the exact same scenario as you, and you
Mhm.
might be the spark that keeps them going. So I hope you continue to share your story, continue to help people out, and to let them know that you can do this. Like if you are smart and you target how you apply and you improve yourself, you can do this. You can get into your top choice program, right?
Mhm. Oh man, I hope my story really does help a lot of people. Yeah, I've been my phone is still blowing up from what happened a few days ago, and I actually had a lot. I definitely use social media because it's such an advantage nowadays. Everybody start connecting with their phones, and so and I got several PPTs ask me, it's like, how do you do this? Like, how do you persevere for 3 years? There are some people who persevered like 5, some people persevered like 9 years, some people
Yeah,
persevered maybe like few months, but it's your own journey. Yeah, don't compare it to someone else's. Everyone's story is different. Not everybody came in fresh out of college and I'm going to grad school. There's some people who do that, which is great. I preach to those people, but there's some people who have to really work their way through it. you know
for sure.
your dream is possible if you really want to, if you have a will for it, it's possible. you know I would
Absolutely. Well,
say.
we'll leave it there, Judy. Thank you again so much for coming on. Really appreciate you.
Thank
And
you
best of
so
luck going forward in the
much.
future. So excited for you
Mhm.
and grateful that your story can inspire everybody
Yeah.
to get better and to do better. So
Yeah.
thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Sean. I really appreciate everything you did.